I'm going to start off by looking at some of the key trends that we've seen across the pandemic as we come out of it. So I'm Malcolm Gibb, I head paid media at QueryClick, and we are a performance-focused digital marketing agency. We're located in both Edinburgh and London, and we pride ourselves on driving incremental value and strong ROI for our customers, predominantly retail focused. So these are some of the clients that we work with across SEO paid attribution. And so I think to start off, for retailers who have previously relied on the older demographics for footfall, the pandemic's really kind of changed that behaviour. So in-store purchases, we may need to kind of reevaluate in terms of how a physical store can actually complement rather than compete with online. So for example, providing a destination to experience and be entertained. One thing that springs to mind in terms of that is the new Amazon non-food store that's opened up recently in Bluewater. In terms of the pandemic, it's not the only reason why people are starting to shop online more. While the pandemic has been a significant driver in those kind of cross-generational changes in the shopping behaviour, it's far from the only one. For example, we work quite closely in the beauty sector, and COVID-19 is only the fifth most important reason why 18 to 34-year-olds are choosing to shop more online. In those older segments, it's one of a number of key drivers. Next slide, please. So during the pandemic, customers' views have actually changed towards e-commerce. Some of the key stats that we have highlighted here, 38% of UK consumers have actually bought products that they never would have usually bought online. So that's specifically true in the health, hygiene and home essentials category. And I think some of the graphs that Andy had there kind of highlight that quite nicely. 49% of the UK consumers plan to continue shopping online. That's largely driven by what we've seen in terms of convenience, delivery, price competitiveness and comfort of shopping from their own home. And furthermore, 59% of customers said that they would go out their way to support brands that showed a social or charitable focus during the pandemic. That behaviour is going to be a result of previous action, and those brands that did convey those behaviours during the pandemic should expect to kind of reap the rewards. It's not the only thing that the pandemic's brought us. So in terms of channel mix, in which customers consume media, TikTok has actually been the biggest beneficiary of this in terms of downloads. It's first channel to hit 1 billion users, and while many customers will be using this for entertainment purposes, it really opens up a kind of larger audience for retailers to target across platform. One of the core markets that is available to target on TikTok is 30 and unders, particularly active on the platform with over 600 million users globally currently using TikTok on a daily basis. Beauty and skincare is actually the 5th largest category on TikTok, and there's substantial to really push there for retailers in that space. And in a recent census-wide survey that we've conducted, 34% of senior marketers during September said that TikTok has actually become a new channel they've integrated within their strategy since the pandemic. So a shift in that consumer behaviour and channel activity has obviously created unique challenges for marketers post-pandemic. So 76% of senior marketers we interviewed have invested significantly more in paid social and paid search during this year alone versus 2020. And that contrasts with a recent study that showed that social ad CPM, so on Facebook, particularly on Facebook ads, have risen across nearly all sectors by at least 41%. So we're dealing with higher costs on social, less ROI, and those rising paid media costs are ultimately a key challenge for us. 53% of marketers we spoke to said they're concerned about rising costs on paid media across 2022 and beyond. So on paid media, how can we, as retail marketers, how can we adapt and deliver performance from paid media ads? So paid ad costs are increasing year on year across all main channels. Updates like the iOS 14 update on Facebook ads are facing tough times with audience fragmentation, poor conversion measurement, So I've got a couple of examples here of how we've used modeled data within paid search that have helped really maximize performance and decrease wastage. So on paid search, it's probably no surprise that CPC costs, cost per click, is on the rise. In some instances, we've actually seen this year that CPC costs have risen by over 140% on pure brand terms. On two clients that we we've actually used unified search, which is a collaboration of organic and paid data. We're able to actually identify over £1 million of branded paid search spend that could be reallocated into other performance channels for retailer Tesco Mobile. So that was modelling both paid and organic data alongside statistically significant testing in partnership with a client and their partner paid media agency. We're actually able to determine the value on and the impact on brand bidding and be able to confidently recommend the brand bidding be turned off and the budget be reallocated. That essentially unlocked £1 million in media budget that could be reallocated elsewhere. For another retailer, because we're actually able to uncover that 1 in 6 clicks in the search results were actually being cannibalized by paid ads. Again, through modeling both organic and paid data together, that helped them unlock budget to redeploy elsewhere. So really, the crux of this is understanding the behavior of how both channels interact with each other to drive a more holistic, de-siloed approach. When it comes to achieving incrementality across channels, so for example on Facebook, how do we drive growth? It's becoming harder to get that positive return on ad spend out of Facebook. And in a recent survey, over 8% of senior marketers agreed that they believe there is bias in channel reporting when dealing with Facebook ads. So it really presents a major challenge for marketers as campaigns appear to drive incremental performance within the platform itself and on the default attribution models that exist. So how do these ads actually stack up in the full customer journey? So really, the bottom line is to model the true value of impressions and clicks is key to understand the role of what Facebook is driving in terms of ROAS. In one instance, we've utilised a bespoke attribution system, Corvidae, found that Facebook had actually been over-reporting ROAS for a client by over 70%. That's the graph on the top there against Google Analytics. We're able to really identify those campaigns with a low platform ROAS reported by Facebook. We're actually effective in generating attributed revenue. So that really allowed the client to focus on reallocating budget into higher funnel activity like prospecting that from within the platform is actually driving poor ROAS, but when correctly tracked and attributed, allowed incremental revenue to be made. So really, I think from what I'm talking about today, there's really 3 key areas that we feel retailers need to look at to improve the performance of paid media. First of all is utilising first-party data on social. That's particularly important things like conversion API, post-iOS update, because there's audience fragmentation, aggregated event measurement, making sure that you're utilising that first-party data to effectively target and find new customers for less. Number 2 is de-siloing search. So we often find success when we de-silo paid search, organic, identifying budget wastage and cannibalization. It's where organic and paid can be a bit more holistic, and it helps us identify search opportunity as well. Trying to treat those 2 channels as one ecosystem rather than 2 disparate channels. And attribution, utilising attribution models to help you make informed and accurate decisions on where channels are driving incremental ROI and where to adjust that budget. That's it. Thanks for listening.